You know, sometimes you can have everything in this life, yet still turn to yourself and say, why am I not happy? Why am I not satisfied? This is the case for me on many occasions. And I don't know whether it's because I'm naturally an ambitious person. I don't know whether it's because it's this form of masculinity which is constantly pushing me to improve and do better and better each day. But even when you have so many beautiful things in your life, you can still sit there and say to yourself, I'm unsatisfied and I want more. Now, why the fuck is that the case? So I figured it out and I was thinking about it today. And even when you've got millions of dollars in the bank and you've got beautiful women that love you and you've got a loving family and you can travel anywhere and you've got a couple of talents that you enjoy and you've got some creative hobbies and you keep fit and you hit the gym and you've got some good friends that you could speak to. Those are the things I've described the kind of ideal life that I built for myself, right? I knew that I had to build this life for myself. And I have a lot of those things that I've just described. Now, I'm not sitting here boasting and saying, wow, look at me, I'm amazing. Because even with all of those things, I sit there and say to myself, why am I not satisfied? Why am I not fulfilled? Why am I seeking more? Why do I want more and more and more? And I want more money and I want more friends and I want more fame and I want more recognition and I want to build a legacy and I want this and I want. And all these desires are a fucking nightmare for your mental health. In fact, Naval Ravikant said that desire is the enemy. It's a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you achieve those desires. And then even when you achieve those desires, guess what? You're still unhappy anyway. So desire in a philosophical way is actually the enemy in some sort. But that hasn't stopped me from continuing to try to chase the things that I want. So here's another concept I want to discuss. The concept is called normalization. Okay, the reason why you're unsatisfied is because whatever you achieve in this life eventually becomes normalized. Okay, anything that I've ever achieved has just become normalized. It's like, oh, it's normal for me now to live on Miami Beach and to have a six-pack and to have a couple of $1 million in this investment account and to be in this Lamborghini flying down the road and to be at a party with 200 models. Yeah. Now what? Done that. Boring. What's next? Miserable. Nah, fucking depressing. Oh, these models are just chatting shit. What a bunch of idiots. I don't want these girls. I want something else. Oh, this guy's got a $50 million mansion and I'm sitting here in this $1 million apartment. This isn't even good enough. It just becomes all normal. You've literally normalized these things that you've acquired. When I was 21 years old, none of this shit was normal. When I was 25, 26 years old, miserable at work, right? Even though I worked for Google at the time, it was a fucking fantastic company. I wouldn't say I was miserable. I would just say, no, actually, I was miserable at work at the time because I didn't want to be told what to do and I wanted freedom. So when I was miserable at work, stuck in the office, if you had told me, hey, you could go work remotely and you'd earn whatever, a few $1,000s a month and you could do this tomorrow, would you take it? I'd be like, fuck yes, I would take it. But now that I have that, I'm like, yeah, got it. What's next? So this concept of normalization is actually extremely dangerous for the human mind, right? We must, and I'll say it, right? I'm a privileged asshole now because I've put myself in this position and I ought to be much more humble and have a sense of perspective, right? I need to adjust my perspective where I sleep on the floor on a cold day outside, so I realize how beautiful it feels to sleep in a warm bed. Or I need to sit in an office for 8-9 hours being told what to do, so I realize how good it is to actually have this level of freedom. So normalization is a dangerous concept and it occurs across all levels in the hierarchy, right? Even the top of the top, the biggest superstars, the George Michaels of this world who had all the money in the world and who was singing to 10,000 people, right? He'd normalized that process. And instead, what ends up happening, he's ended up turning into a massive drug addict and he died at a young age, right? I love George Michael. He grew up in my area in North London in Highgate, right? So I've got an affinity for George Michael and I'm extremely upset that he lost his life. But he, again, normalized his success. And a lot of life's dissatisfaction comes from normalizing your situation, right? Your situation is not normal. Most of the people that are listening to my YouTube channel sitting there saying to myself, oh, I'm trying to up my income or I wish I was like this guy. you're already living a beautiful life, right? You have just normalized it. And you're probably watching some shit online, like we all are. If you see my Instagram Explore page, it's toxic as fuck. It's literally like men with six packs, beautiful women, fast cars, people on holiday. And I'm like, shit, I really need to realign my algorithm here because I'm looking at the wrong shit. This is extremely toxic. And so if I'm looking at that, then I'm like seeking that, right? Whereas my life is already beautiful as it is. Why am I seeking more and more and more and more and more? It's because I've normalized my current situation. And even if I get to the next phase, whatever that might look like, I'm going to just normalize that. And then I'm going to be looking at the next phase after that. So the only thing that actually helps you with this normalization issue is getting closer to God. When you have religion, when you have God, I personally am becoming more and more of a devout Catholic, right? I serve Christ, and he's the only man that I bow to, and he's the only true king in my heart. And so the closer that I've got to my religious beliefs, the more satisfied I've become. Because religion teaches us to be so humble, right? Feed the poor, help the poor. Stop thinking about being rich all the time. No religion sits there and says, be rich and throw gold at everyone. Every religion says, if you become rich, help the poor, be charitable. And all those things are such beautiful things for your human nature, for your mental health. So what's helped me solve this normalization issue is actually getting closer to my religious beliefs, getting closer to God and thanking him or her or it or whatever it is, this deity, thanking it for giving me what I have and for my blessings. And when you become grateful, then you're not seeking and becoming so ambitious all the time, right? This normalization becomes, you kind of dampen down this concept of you normalizing all these amazing things, and you start becoming a little bit more grateful for the warm bed and for the lovely food and for the roof over your head. Right, so the reason we're unsatisfied is because we normalize all of these things that we've achieved, and life becomes like a hamster wheel, like a guinea pig, like running around this wheel, achieving things, and then you're just running and running and just running into an endless pit of doom. And so I do understand the concept of religion, and it is extremely useful, and I am getting closer and closer to God because I realize that the closer I get to God, the more satisfied I will be, because no matter what I achieve in this world, I'll just normalize it, and I'll be unsatisfied with whatever I might achieve, right? If I get to the 50 million mark, the 100 million mark, if I buy 10 Ferraris, if I become super famous, if I bang another 100 models, it doesn't make a difference. It won't make you any happier. It's just a hedonistic trap. And religion teaches us to not be hedonistic. It teaches us to be humble. Because if you start normalizing all these processes and all these lifestyle factors, then you're just going to be fucked in the head and you're going to be miserable. And so I will continue to serve God, I'll continue to serve Christ, and no matter what religion you are, I completely respect it, but try to think about that when you're unsatisfied in life. When you're unsatisfied in life, it usually means you're just being ungrateful and you're forgetting the wonderful blessings that you have in your life.